Greetings, Darklings, from across the interwebs. It is once again I, the Duchess Precious Ken. I didn't get dialed up or anything for the Sounds and Shadows podcast here. It's a little late. My special guest, which we'll get to in a minute, is on the West Coast. So I am up past my 45-year-old bedtime. And I'm still in recovery. We did a show on Saturday over at Bell's Brewery, which was a blast. So much fun. What a great sound system there. I'm going to have to talk about things coming up that we're going to do there. Before I get into my guests, I want to give a shout out to a couple things that I'm listening to on Bandcamp while I'm here. Hem Netcher, who we've done an interview with from out in Vancouver, just released a new single called Elemental Cry. Super freaking cool. They have the throat singing. They have Raven and her beautiful voice. Very cool, like old school Project Records, black tape for a blue girl, dead can dance kind of vibe. Another cool one from Sounds and Shadows member that Derek sent this over, but it's Kali Dreamer, and it's called October Requiem 1988. And just like awesome gothic intensity with some kind of hip hop cadence to the vocal delivery on it that I love. It just has a really unique sound while still having a old school goth feel. So highly recommend that. And then the last one I want to shout out is my dear friend Pedro in Portugal. I Am the Shadow has a new release out, The Wide Starlight. Look, until further notice, if I Am the Shadow puts out a release, you need that. Period. I think he's like 8 for 8 in the last releases that I've heard from him. It's never bad. It's always great, and it's always fresh and new. I think what I really like about this one is just the bright expansiveness of it. So I'll have reviews for all of that up soon, but I now have a special guest that I am going to introduce all the way from Los Angeles, Mr. Dave Dramedy. Did I say that right, Dave?
That's right. You said it right.
Nailed it. All right, we're already off
to
a good start. I love it.
Yes, we are. Thank you for having me. And like I said earlier, it's about time since we postponed this thing.
It is.
Twice before.
Yeah, this is one of those that like just it seemed fate was against us, and we had like 3 things come up where we rescheduled. I remember I had the same thing with Danny Blue, where I swear we must have had like 4 times we tried to set it up before we did the interview. But you're here now. I'm very excited.
Yeah. And it kind of works out great because before we had a schedule before the tour, and now we could do like a post tour.
Exactly. I will get a chance to talk about that and hear about the tour. But to start off here for some of my listeners that maybe aren't as familiar with you, tell me a little bit about your history. There was this moment back in the day where you heard or you saw something and the darkness seeped into your soul and you said, boom, this is for me. And I want you to tell me about that moment and how it leads up to the modern day Dave Dramedy music.
Okay. Well, I guess it all starts out when I first listened to rock and roll, as we all probably started listening to some kind of rock band. But for me, it was the 2 albums that first kickstarted it were AC/DC's Highway to Hell and Kiss Dynasty. And both were my dad's cassettes.
Wow. Yeah. So you came from a very different place than me, because I have a firm belief that generally speaking, like AC/DC, if there's a boat coming from Australia with musical instruments on it, it's kind of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of thing. But I'm going to let you keep going now. That's
So that's about it. That was like my first kind of thing that got me in the whole music thing. I really liked it. I really liked the guitar. I really liked the way the how the energy felt, the vocals for both Kiss and AC/DC. And what's kind of funny is that the Kiss album is Dynasty, which is their disco record. So to start out like, oh, that's one of my first rock and roll records I ever got. So that pretty much got me listening to a lot of music. Another thing was I'm from the Bay Area. And at the time, we didn't have MTV my parents didn't want to get cable, they didn't believe in cable, but there was a like a music video channel,
Mhm.
local one, and they played so many different things. They played a lot of Duran Duran, they played a lot of Thomas Dolby, they
It was a
played
non.
Depeche Mode. It was like all these other bands, and that's kind of, and I got into that as well. So between the rock and the new wave, I was pretty much covered.
I
You
didn't
know,
even know there were other music channels
there
besides
were
MTV.
there
That's cool.
were. It's like every city usually has a local thing,
Wow.
and I do know, I have heard that CMC, that's what it was called. It's still around in the Bay Area.
So they outlasted MTV because MTV's
Yeah,
crashed and burned and doesn't even play music anymore. So that's
definitely.
great.
Yeah, yeah. So from new wave, I got back into like rock and then metal, then thrash, and then I got into alternative music. Then I got into punk, and then from punk I got into goth, and then from goth I got into industrial. You know how the whole kind of the whole
I
system
do.
goes.
You went. I've also
Yeah,
done about everything at one point. I
yeah.
was a swing kid for a while there,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
wearing suits and have a cane
yeah.
and flipping people around in dance competitions.
Wow,
So
I never went to that direction. I did try though, but I just couldn't get into, because I don't know. For me, going into that scene is like you really had to have the whole
you had to commit. You had to
yeah,
be
you
all
had to commit. But then again, if you think about it, in any kind of music scene, you have to commit. But I guess
in.
I just didn't connect with that one.
I was a
So
horn player too, so I think maybe that
okay,
might
well
have
that kind, you kind of had to weigh in already.
yeah.
If you didn't commit, at least you played the horn. You
Yeah,
know,
true.
so that's cool.
So you did that, and it eventually brought you along into goth. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once that set in, it seems like that's the one that kind of stuck. Although I do hear a lot of those other elements in your music. I
Yeah,
would
that's
say
the
of the
thing.
goth genre, you definitely lean more in the Nick Cave,
Yeah,
kind of I don't know, organic goth vibe is I guess what
pretty
I
much.
call
I mean, that's a very good thing, the way to describe it. I mean, I don't know. I really like, from all the different styles of music, I do take lots of things from each genre
it.
and I
Sure.
do stick it in there, because I've always been into, I don't know. I just like mixing things together. I like having, say,
Yeah,
a really hard song, but a really good melody line, whether it's the
sure.
guitar or the vocals. I mean, I grew up off of commercial radio, which at the time when I was growing up was like Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, and Belinda Carlisle, stuff like that. So, and in my family would listen to stuff like ABBA, so Fleetwood
Hey,
Mac. So I had all
there's
these
nothing wrong
things.
with ABBA and
No,
Fleetwood Mac.
there's nothing wrong with that at all. But so a lot of the pop sensibilities really stuck with me throughout the years.
Sure.
So I like to infuse them into the music I write. Even though things get dark or things get heavy, I always keep in mind about the sensibility, the hooks, the melodies. So, but yeah, I mean, goth is like one of the big ones that influenced me. Britpop, that's another one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've been there.
definitely,
So,
and it still does too for
so
me.
you kind of had this, giant blender that you put all of this in and spun it around.
Yeah,
What got you to the, I don't know, a solo project aspect? I mean, you have other people that are playing with you, that have done it, but it really does have. I mean, the band is called the Dramedy and Dave
yeah,
Dramedy. It
yeah.
it is. It's focused. It does. It has a singer songwriter vibe to kind of that
Right,
darker
right.
style. Why did that appeal to you so much? Why did the idea of kind of having your lyrics and your delivery be the centerpiece for you?
I guess that's just my. I just think the vocals are like the things that connect most with people. So I
Agree.
really wanted that to be up in the forefront. I did make a conscious effort when I got into this whole thing, even at the very beginning, is that I really did not want to put a lot of effects on my vocals. I wanted to be clear,
Sure.
because, you know, the more clear it was, the more people I could connect with. And that's
Yeah.
usually my goal, is to connect as many people as possible to my music, because that's what music did to me. It
Sure.
made me connect, with what the artist was writing. It made me connect with, you know, just my feelings inside and got me through a lot of tough times. So that is
Yeah.
one of the ultimate goals I would like to do in my music. So as far as the vocals, I really wanted them to be clear and easy for people to listen to, as opposed to having it underneath, a lot of static or a lot of effects. I mean, I do use a lot of reverb when I sing, but my voice is pretty powerful, so it kind of
Yeah.
kind of overpowers the reverb in a way. So
I think too, when I hear your music, that I get a bit of the method actor sense. So kind of when you said that a minute ago, I think this is something for a lot of artists. I think, to me, to a point, um, it's cathartic to kind of talk about these dark themes or these dark ideas. It's almost like music is self-therapy to a
yeah.
point of kind of talking through this. Um, how much do you think that does play a factor for you? Is that something that you think about, that these songs, when you're putting them out and especially performing them live,
Yeah.
is this kind of about you getting something out of yourself that you have to?
At the time when I write the songs, definitely, like there's plenty of songs that I've written where I felt so much emotion or anger or bitterness or even happiness that I
Sure.
had to get it down on paper. Um, so yes, definitely. So it really is cathartic to get that out there. And then after I get it down, I have to perform it in a way that's, you know, I have to make sure how I sing it is gonna reflect the feeling that I put on paper. So it's sometimes it's hard. Sometimes the original ideas of how I'm gonna sing things don't work out, and I have to rethink it in a
Sure.
way. Sometimes things take a left turn, and you go, "Oh, I mean, this song I wrote in this particular feeling, but if I sing it this way in a more maybe more mid tempo or happy kind of pop way, it
Sure.
works a little bit better. Much like Enjoy the Silence with Depeche Mode.
Right.
It started out as like a ballad, and then Alan Wilder did his whole thing to make it more like a dance song, and it still works. It still
Yeah.
has like the same feeling. It just grabs people a little bit more.
See, that's like a whole genre of music that's one of my favorites, is really happy sounding songs that when you
Yeah,
bother to listen to it are the most depressing thing in the world.
yeah.
The one that always comes back to me is the Pet Shop Boys Rent. Like, the
Okay.
concept of that song is
Yeah.
dark as hell.
Right. Right. Right.
But you hear it and it's this club hit, you know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So no, I love that.
Yeah.
You just got, so doing the dramedy now, you just got back from this tour,
Right.
which became a part of that, and what it
Uh,
was like to, for the most
Yeah,
part, all the
just
way
just
from
like
LA.
yeah, 3 dates, Midwest, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago. Basically, I started out by contacting Caroline Blind, which,
Yeah.
as you know, I played with. I backed her up, and kind of how I met you, sort of,
Yeah.
because I know I didn't talk to you at that night when we played at Smalls.
Yeah.
I was just kind of keeping to myself. But so I contacted her. I asked her if she wanted to go do a tour, and she said she couldn't because she was busy. I don't know if she was going to do the wake thing at the
Yeah.
time,
I
but
think she was set up to do that. Also, by the way, I mean, shout out. Carolyn is
well,
just
yeah,
a
of course. Yeah, yeah,
goddess. Love.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
If
she's great. She's really
if there's
great.
somebody watching this podcast that for some reason doesn't know Sunshine Blind,
I know.
go look that up,
Yeah.
because you're missing out on one of the best. So
No,
anyhow,
definitely.
carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So I contacted her. She couldn't do it. I don't know whether it's because I contacted her about this a while back, and
Mhm.
I didn't know if the wake thing was already happening, but she did say she was busy and she wasn't going to do she wasn't going to do any kind of touring. But she said she was going to go tour with Patrick Ogle,
Mhm.
Thanatos. She said she was going to set up a tour with him. Maybe I can do it with him instead. So she gave me his contact, and I just cold called him and said, "Hey, I used to play with Caroline. This is me right now, Dave Dramedy. I want to know if you'd be interested in, doing a couple dates with me or a few
Yeah.
dates with me up in the Midwest or whatever." And we tried. He kind of, bounced around the idea, and then he ended up liking the idea because he hasn't played in 4 years.
Yeah. Hey,
Solo.
touring is scary right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it is.
yeah,
It's putting yourself out there.
yeah,
Clubs are really
yeah.
touchy right now. It is. It's
Yeah,
tough.
I mean, I was pretty scared. I haven't been on a plane since 2019.
Yeah.
So that was just a big step for me. I'm like, I guess if I'm gonna do this, I have to go do this. And so he decided he wanted to do it, and I said, all right, well, let me go and make some connections. And then right off the bat, I got Pittsburgh and Detroit because I knew Cat, which you know as well.
Cat is the best. Love Cat. Love
Yeah,
Smalls.
yeah, and Kelly,
Yeah.
DJ Kelly A. So I contacted both of them, and they both. Fortunately, Kelly's the one who started it all because she had this event, the Dance Macabre 7, and
Yes.
she already had planned. And she said, and she was going to do this acoustic night thing, dark acoustic event.
Bing, bing,
So
bing. Line
yeah,
it
it
up.
was like So basically, it was like she had at first Charming Disaster play, and then she didn't have to book anybody else because now it was me and Thanatos. So yeah,
Very
so that worked out great. And then Kat did it. I told her, well, this is the date we have. And she said, okay, well, I could give you this date. And I said, all right, cool. And then I told Patrick, and he was like, I think he was shocked that the shows came down really fast.
sure.
He was really shocked. And now was like, it got him, I'm sure, thinking, oh, now I really have to go and,
Right.
do this because, there's already two committed shows.
I mean, it
And
does.
then,
I mean, when you've got great promoters like that, Kelly in Pittsburgh, is just a glorious, wonderful soul, but
yeah,
also has been doing that a long time, is
yeah,
experienced,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you can count on that. You're going to have a good venue
Right, right,
promotion. You know what I mean?
right.
It is when you're scared anyway, traveling across the country.
Yeah.
You know, to have somebody in your camp there that is going to handle business is a big
Yeah.
load off.
No, it was great. And when I played, how I met her is like I played one of her events too on Halloween. It was like the same kind of event. That's how I met her, and she was nice. So I
Yeah.
knew that she was going to be good for it, because she does it every year.
Yeah.
Well, pre-pandemic, and now she's going to do it post-pandemic. So it worked out really great with that. So that's how I got into meeting Thanatos, and he ended up booking the G-Man show in Chicago. Through Scary Lady Sarah, which is another
Another
another great
wonderful.
person. Yeah,
You have
and
some great ladies in your corner. Those are
I
all
know,
three.
right? They're all really cool, And then when I was with Caroline, I got to meet William and Sarah because we did a tour. We opened up for Bellwether, So
Nice.
that
Yeah,
was really
William
cool.
is amazing. I saw on Sounds and Shows put out his production company, the
Oh
website
wow,
today.
nice.
So we'll give that shout out to those of you out there that are in need of mixing, mastering, and so on. You couldn't do better than William Faith. I mean, Faith and the
Yeah,
Muse, Bellwether Syndicate,
Christian Death.
Christian. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
well, yeah, Ross Williams, Christian
yeah.
Death. So yeah, and then it was great. It was, we came out, we did it. It was a great experience. I set out to I achieved everything I set out to do, which was play the Midwest and East Coast, do a tour like that, meet some people, scan the area out,
Sure.
and other people. They asked me, if I wanted to do it again next year, or at least do another tour again next year. And I said, yeah, I'll do another tour next year because that's such a great time. And I also personally feel that I feel more connected with the Midwest and the East Coast than I do out here on the West Coast for
Sure.
some reason, and
Because we keep it real.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys got good work. I mean, I'm assuming that everybody over there has better work ethic than LA or the West Coast because everybody out here is too laid back.
Sure.
You know,
Whenever I'm in LA, it definitely strikes me it's one of those places where I have a blast for about
yeah,
a week and a
right,
half, and then I'm
yeah,
like, I got to get out of here. Like, it's
yeah,
great visiting. I don't know if
yeah,
I could handle the day-to-day. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. So for me to go over there, it's really makes me think like maybe I should start thinking about relocating over there. I mean, I spent a lot of my years over here in the West Coast,
Mhm.
just 20 years in Los Angeles. I think it's about time I got out of here and go somewhere else.
Definitely save a lot of money on rent. I can tell you that for sure.
Right. Is it? I mean, I know some places are, starting to jack up their prices.
I mean, a bit, but
Yeah.
no. Like, you could probably get like 2,000 square foot mini mansion for what you could get a closet for in LA
Right,
per
right.
month, I'm pretty sure.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'm
You're in
thinking about it.
Kalamazoo,
Yeah.
Michigan, at least, I'll say.
Right. And not only
Um,
that, all the cities are close enough to actually do shows, you know.
yeah, yeah. So the other thing I want to get to asking, so you're out on the road and doing it, and
Right.
I love this. I know you've take it, you've heard me say this a couple times, but this whole goth Orville Peck bandito, vibe that you have going, this, I don't know if it's a character or if it's just an aesthetic you're into right now. Tell me a little bit about kind of how that started and how it became synonymous
Right.
with Dave Dramedy.
Um, well, as you know, I did have a band, and I used to call the whole thing the Dramedy.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the album I released back in 2021. I've been since like 2014. I've been trying to put a full band together, a steady band together, and I've failed a lot because people just can't commit. People want to do other things. People don't want to, it's. But so
People want to hang out with their cats in pajamas and take
oh,
naps. Well, that's mainly
well,
me,
yeah,
but other people
yeah.
want to.
Other people are looking out for other things,
Yeah,
and fine, that's perfectly fine. Do what you want to do, but I have my thing I got to do, and so each time I've tried to do something, it never happens. So I end up playing with other bands, and then I go back to the dramedy. And so fast forward, 2021, I did that album. It was going great, but at the same time, I don't know. I was unhappy with the bandmates I had.
sure.
Kind of
It's
unhappy
hard,
with it.
to find a good fit,
Yeah, yeah,
especially when you're not in like your 20s and nobody cares, when you're taking it serious,
right,
it is,
right.
it's tough.
Yeah, it's been kind of it was kind of rough. And also I was going through the pandemic, I was going through some other stuff too. So my attitude and my head was in the totally different
Sure.
space. So by like 2022 rolls around, like at the beginning of the year, I was really ready to go and quit music because I was just like, I can't stand this.
Sure.
I don't really want to, deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with the people. I don't want to deal with the scene. I don't want to deal with, financially, it's like not breaking even, blah, 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 blah. So I was really sad. But then I thought, well, let me try one more time. So one of my friends up in the Bay Area, actually, Tyler from Violator,
Oh yeah.
we could blame him. I saw he was playing up in San Jose around the end of March this year, and I was like, okay, well, I will ask him if he needs another spot, another artist for that show, then to book me. And if he says yes, he does, then I will go and keep doing music.
Wow.
And if he says no, then that's it. That's it. I'm not doing it.
You gave
So
yourself an ultimatum.
pretty much, obviously, he did it. So I was like, okay, here we go. I gotta go and do it. So, but when I decided to go and do it, I wanted to give myself some like rules. Basically, rule number one is like everything I did before, I gotta erase it. I gotta
Starting fresh. Okay.
I gotta start fresh. I gotta start from square one. I can't give bookers like, oh, here's my band. And then they go, well, where's your band? Well, by the way, I'm only playing by myself tonight. So just my voice and my guitar. So it was like, well, I can't necessarily do that because I'm going to confuse bookers. So I took down everything off my Bandcamp. I took down everything off of, the socials, Instagram, all the pictures, everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I just got to start square one. I made some really quick solo demos of me, my voice and the guitar. Put them up on a SoundCloud, just send those out to other people. And then another thing I said, okay, well, I got to go and change my look. I can't,
Yeah.
because that's something I can't do what I'm going to do before. And
Right. If you're going to start fresh with everything, you might
yeah,
as well
yeah.
go all the way. No, I like it.
So yeah, so I did a rebrand, so to speak. And basically I didn't really have a plan. I just said, I got the bandana, I got the hat. That's it. We're just good. This is it. We'll figure it out as we go along. I got this sweater that looks pretty cool that crisscrosses. I got these leather pants, and I got these boots that an ex-girlfriend gave me that I've never worn before. And they're these really cool Chelsea boots. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, there we go. That's That's my look. And then I was like, okay, well, now the songs, I wasn't really quite ready to play new songs, but I was like, I can't necessarily play, I could play the old songs, but I don't want to play a lot of them the same way I used to do before. So it's like, so I pretty much rearranged and rewrote a lot of my older songs. So it translates better to just me, the guitar, and the vocals, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Nice. I like
that's,
that. I like a
yeah,
fresh start, a
yeah,
fresh look, the whole bit.
yeah,
Also, I like the fact that you're bringing back the fedora because back in
yeah,
the day, in the early 90s, I used
yeah,
to rock a fedora everywhere. Like
right.
I said, I was a swing kid for a
Yeah,
while
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
And then dudes on the internet eventually ruined the fedora in the
yeah,
same
yeah,
way that like Columbine ruined my black trench coat. And
right,
so I like the fact that you're boldly taking it back from Milady Dude.
right,
Bring the fedora back for me, Dave,
right.
because I rock the shit out of it, and I would like to again, but I don't have your courage apparently.
So, but yeah, so then, but then the more I thought about it, the more I started playing shows, the more I was thinking like, okay, well, people kept saying that I was like this, desperado, this bandit, this
Sure.
Western, this cowboy. And I'm like, I'm wearing a fedora. I'm not wearing a cowboy hat.
True.
But I
Although
guess they see, yeah,
there is a history to yeehaw goth. I mean,
yeah,
there
yeah.
is a, Fields of the Nephilim, and
Right, right, right.
there
Yeah.
is.
No, I get it.
There's ground
Yeah,
tread there, so it does feel
yeah,
familiar to
yeah,
kind of have that
yeah.
aspect. Heck, you could go back as far as Johnny Cash,
Yeah,
or like
you
Waylon
could.
Jennings.
Yeah. So it's I kind of like so people kept describing me that way, but in a way, it kind of went with the energy I was going for, uh, what I want to put out there, which is like this renegade rebel who's kind of doing his own thing, who's
Sure.
playing this style, who's singing a certain style, a certain way, who moves around a certain way, at least in a way that I sometimes I believe is lacking on stage performances, especially for like rock bands or whatever. It's like
Mhm.
because I like to move around, I like to give a performance, and a lot of times I just feel like I'm this one man army, so to speak, waving the flag for this rock and roll rebel renegade, who just plays and does things his way. So to the point where, the stuff I released are just bootleg recordings that I record on my phone. Cause I was like, you know what? I've
Sure.
done the expensive recordings where everything sounded good. And I sold, but didn't sell enough to break even. I'll just do this for now. It captures
DIY it,
my
sure.
essence. It captures my energy, it captures
Yeah.
what I want to promote, which is, like I said, rebel, which is rock and roll, renegade. That's kind of the energy I want to promote and bring out there. So
Well,
that's
and
kind
that's
of
something
like
we
the whole
talk
thing.
about on this show a lot that I think is true. Is there's also a spot in between. Like I like to hear that and kind of that DIY punk,
Yeah,
mentality toward. But like in 2022, you can have a really, really good recording with a $1,000 studio in your bedroom. You know
right,
what I
right,
mean?
right,
Like
right.
that's a reality today that in 1993 was not a reality.
No, that's
Like
very
if
true.
you
Yeah,
wanted to sound not like crap,
yeah,
you were in a studio for $150 an hour. Like that was
right, right.
an option.
Yeah,
So I think that you do have a place in there where you can get that level of sound with a laptop and one decent mic.
yeah. I could. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really. I'm like so busy that I don't have the time a lot to learn how to do a lot of Pro Tool stuff. I mean, the farthest I go is GarageBand,
Yeah,
and I know I'm the type of person that's not going to really sit there and tweak with stuff,
sure.
because I'll get frustrated. I mean, I'll work with somebody who will
Yeah.
tweak the stuff. I'll sit there and do it, but I
Maybe
just
you
know
need to get a
myself.
hold of William Faith.
Maybe I should. How much is he?
Yeah, I bet for you he'd cut you a friend price. Like
Maybe,
William's a good
maybe.
guy. I bet he'd work it out with you.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But I mean, I do have plans to do something, because I can't just keep I understand I can't keep doing these DIY things. That would just keep me
Sure.
limited to just one thing. It's working for me now, and
Mhm.
I think but it's beginning to, run its course. So I do have plans to, do better recordings or, kick things up a notch.
Yeah.
So
So
right now, this is right now.
Yeah, let's shift gears and go towards that.
Yeah,
What is the future for the dramedy? If we did this interview, I love
yeah,
asking this question. If we did this
yeah,
interview 1 year from now,
yeah.
so November 2023, and
Okay.
I sit down, I'm like, Dave, so what's been going on with you this year? What do you have to, you had the tour for this interview. What will we be talking about in 2023? What's the game plan?
The game plan is just to play out more and to probably tour, the US a lot more, adding more dates, definitely the East Coast. I know I want to do a Southern tour. I know I want to go up the Pacific Northwest. So at least those three regions, hopefully. If not, then at least two of them.
Yeah.
That'll happen for sure. I know
You
I'm
feel
gonna
like that's another big advantage for you is kind of doing the one man show thing is that you can like on a more whim you got your guitar, you've got your outfit and off you go,
yeah.
and it's not like you have to organize a bus or a
Right, right,
van
right,
or other
right, right,
people or
right.
you just there you go.
No, definitely. I mean, I definitely, can do it. I mean, it's a lot easier, especially if I keep things the way they are now with just me and the guitar. Then,
Mhm.
yes, definitely, it would be a lot easier. But like I said, I'm going to be expanding, and one of the things I'm doing is I'm in the process of getting backing tracks done. So I
Mhm.
am joining the future. you know,
That's good.
I am joining the future because, like I said, I can only go so far with what I'm
Sure.
doing, and I can hold my own, but I want to expand more. And so the next step is to try backing tracks, to explore backing tracks. So that's what I'll be doing, and um, I might have them ready by December. So I'm gonna probably book myself a little tour, a little Arizona desert tour to test
Ooh.
out these things. Yeah,
I mean,
um,
December is the time to head to the desert.
I
Well, I
know
guess
that's
it doesn't matter
exactly
to you
why.
anyway in California, but somebody was just asking me the other day where they're like, "Hey Ken, let's do this show, and would you want to come out in January?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, they live in Michigan with me. They want me
Okay.
to come to Granite, and I was like, "Bro, you wanna drive somewhere in
Yeah.
January in Michigan? You live here, you know what that means. Like, come on, what are you thinking?"
Yeah, yeah. But so I'm thinking about doing an Arizona tour, try out the backing tracks, and in January, really perfect them, and then go all start the next year with backing tracks, and we'll see how far that goes. Hopefully, I could put a band together, a
Mhm.
full band, but if not, maybe have another person or two other people join me on this whole journey. You know, I would still call it Dave Dramedy because, which kind of circles back to the whole dramedy thing. Um, I call myself Dave Dramedy because that's basically what I am, and that's basically what the dramedy is. Because I've always been the consistent member, and I figured I never wanted to do it, but I was forced to do it, so I'm here. I am as a solo artist using my name. Uh, but in a way, it's a good thing because if people come in, they can easily go, and I don't have to change the name. I don't have to do anything. It's just that's me. That's I'm still
They
here.
come
It's
and
still me.
go,
Yeah,
but there you are.
yeah, I'll be here, and that's my name. So I would like to expand to a full band if I could, but if not, maybe one or two people join it, and hopefully I'll have a record out, next year, which
Yeah,
I am planning. A new record, maybe some other releases too, to kind of throw everything back out there again. With
sure.
because like I said, I got rid of all the stuff, and I am not opposed to you know, playing all these old songs before because I don't think that they've got their due. I think that I've gotten so many starts and stops that they never had their chance to live on stage and live in live performances. A lot of
Oh, I
people
know
have
what you
never
mean.
heard them. Yeah, I remember I think you were talking to Subculture Talk, and you were saying about your band, how a
Yeah,
lot of those songs were from the 90s or whenever
true.
you
Yeah, we grabbed a couple of the old ones and, like you
yeah,
said, made them our own, made
yeah,
them 2019.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But at the same time, they were those old songs, and you found out you saw them through new eyes
yeah,
at your age now from
yeah,
maybe when you wrote them in your 20s or
right,
something like
right,
that.
yeah.
I think that there's something really valuable in that because one thing I've learned at 45 is youth is wasted on the young.
Well, yeah, it is.
and, and I
It's like
thought I knew a lot of things back then, and I
right, right.
shit.
Right. I mean, the only thing I do miss is the energy I had. I mean, I have a lot of energy now, but after a show, I'm just beat.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, see, when you talk about tours, and I'm like, that's impressive, bro, because when I play one show, I need like 2 days worth of nap
Right,
afterwards just to.
right. I'm probably gonna be heading there soon, but I mean, I was like, dude, this was just 3 shows. What
Yeah,
happens when I do 5, 6, 7, 8?
right, right.
How is it gonna be? But I guess the more you do it, the more your body adapts.
That's true.
And I mean, I don't drink as much as I did before. I don't eat a lot of shitty food. I don't eat a lot of like junk food is what I'm talking about.
All right. That does lead me to an important next question here,
Yeah.
because you did do a Midwest tour just now,
Right.
living out there in LA, where probably some of I don't know for sure, but I would say they have to probably be up there for like most Michelin stars of a city in the world or something,
Right.
very known for great restaurants.
Right.
But those places in the Midwest
Right.
that are especially like Greasy Spoon and
Right.
whatever.
Right. Right.
Now, sadly, my favorite Detroit stop off, Lafayette Coney, was
Yeah.
closed while you were
Oh,
in Detroit. So I know you
okay.
didn't go there, but was there anything memorable that you got to try or eat or experience while you were out there on that tour in the Midwest?
Um, in Detroit, Cat took me to this place. I forget the name, but it just opened and it claimed they had the best. I'm vegetarian. I'm not
Mhm.
vegan, but I am vegetarian. But this place claimed they had the best vegan sandwiches.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
and I had a vegan pastrami sandwich, and it was really good. The pastrami is my favorite,
New
meat to
York
put on
deli.
sandwich. Yeah, yeah, and I have to say that the sandwich I got there was really good. I
That does
forgot the
sound good.
name. I
I
forgot the
think
name.
I've actually had, because Smalls has in whatever, like food truck type kitchens.
Yeah.
They don't have like an official thing themselves. They
No,
have
no,
like
no.
places that show
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
and do it. And I think I had that there, the pastrami, and they had corned beef and stuff like that, but they did
Maybe,
deli style sandwiches. I
maybe.
think I had that there.
I mean,
So
this was a storefront, so
yeah, they
yeah.
might
So
now. They
yeah, they
might
might have a
have a
storefront now.
storefront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
So
really good. I really like
very
that one.
cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I mean, what else? And Pittsburgh, what did I have? I had like
Coleslaw
this
on everything. That's what
and
they do
what?
in Pittsburgh. They put
Yeah.
coleslaw on everything. Hot
I-
dogs, hamburgers,
yeah,
sandwiches, French fries,
yeah.
dump coleslaw on all that. I don't know why, but that's what they do in Pittsburgh.
Right. No, I did not have coleslaw, but I went to this place called Driftwood, which was really good. It
Ooh,
was
okay.
the pizzas that were made on their sourdough bread that they baked right there in the restaurant, and you could see it all happening. That was pretty good too. And then Chicago, I stayed in Wicker Park, so
Okay.
I kind of just ate what was there, which was
Sure.
Handlebar. Handlebar was really good. Patrick Thanatos told me about Handlebar, and that was just a couple blocks down the street from where I was staying at. So that was a really good
Yeah,
vegan
that's
place.
great. I
Yeah.
think my favorite Chicago shout out is Lou Malnati's. I can't go to Chicago without getting a
Right.
pie.
Right.
Actually, when I went there for Cold Waves, I took a train home. I took a train instead of
Okay.
driving. And so
Yeah.
I actually went home on the train with two hot
Yeah.
Lou Malnati's pizzas
Right.
on my lap
Nice.
for
Nice.
the
I
2 hour
love.
train ride
Yeah.
home to
Yeah.
bring to
Yeah.
Rachel. And yeah, so I
Yeah.
was a big hero that day that
Nice.
she got to have Lou Malnati's.
Nice. I love Lou Malnati's compared to the other. What's the other place? Giordano's.
Yeah, there's that one. There's, was
But
it
I don't really like that one. I like.
Quads? There's a few. There's a
Yeah.
few, but my favorite is Lou Malnati's.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just something about the sauce there that
Yeah, that's the
like.
thing. It was like the way the sauce was.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever out in Los Angeles, there's this deep dish place called Blackbird.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Melrose. I suggest you try that place out. And if you do get a large deep dish pizza, that'll probably
All right.
last you the
Well,
whole
I
time you're
do
out
need
here.
to get out to LA eventually because I got to go
Right.
see Male Tears out there. I really want to
Oh,
see them
okay.
live. So,
Nice, nice, nice. Well, there you go. You have a tip to go get something to eat.
so now we've come to the part of the interview. We're first and foremost a music review page.
Right.
So I always think it's important when I talk to artists and I enjoy their music and hearing it. What is it you're listening to and is inspiring you? So I always like to ask that if you have a band or two, whether
Yeah.
it's somebody you played with or whether it's
Yeah.
just something you like or you're listening to,
Yeah.
what's somebody in your Bandcamp, Spotify right now that you're playing that you're excited about?
Hmm, there's actually a few.
Hit
I'll
me.
say this. Yeah, I'll say this. Well, during the during the pandemic, you couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
So obviously,
Lots of time to.
you lost the time to go. I I like during that time I got into that music genre, retrowave.
Okay.
So I was listening to a lot of retrowave stuff, and a lot of the artists I like from them, like I guess Carpenter Brute, that would be a retrowave band, or they would be lumped underneath retrowave. Um, Mecca Maiko, she's out in Vancouver. I really like her a
I don't
lot.
know that one. Tell me about it. I'll put it in the links.
She's this kind of, it's like electropop, and I just kind of 80s sounding.
Okay.
It's hard. It's just really cool electropop type of
Is it a
music.
band or is it like a
It's one. It's
solo?
one. It's one. It's a solo
Okay.
girl.
Nice. Very
Um,
cool.
there's this one band, this one artist. He calls himself Neon Knox.
Okay.
More retrowave stuff, and his is kind of more like how John Carpenter has his music. It's kind of synthy and
Sure, sure.
cinematic.
Yeah,
So a lot of his music is like that, and that's kind of how a lot of the music and the artists are on retrowave are like that. They're just kind of
yeah,
80s cinematic, you know, sometimes semi-industrial type of music. Oh,
sure. Yeah, one I
mostly
always think
instrumental.
of for
Yeah.
that is Empathy Test. That's one of
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
modern favorites
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of has that like
Yeah.
cinematic, like
Yeah, yeah.
Carpenter vibe to it.
Right, right. Other stuff I like Boot Blacks. That was another one, a band I like. Really cool
Can't go wrong
guys.
with Boot Blacks. Boot Blacks is
Yeah,
amazing. They're in
really
Europe
cool
right
guys.
now.
All
They're
right. Oh
touring
yeah,
Europe with
I did
actors.
see
Yeah.
that. Yeah. This artist that I played with over in the Bay Area, her name is Nuda.
Hmm.
I liked, yeah, she was playing solo. She plays keyboard for Fleischkrieg, and
Okay.
yeah,
They were on tour. They almost came to Kalamazoo.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but her solo project was really cool. I like the way her presentation was.
Yeah.
With she has a really cool light show going on, and just how she moved on stage and how she dressed, the aesthetic of it all, and her music was good too.
Yeah.
I really liked it a lot. Other bands that I really liked are a lot of bands that I've played with out here in I think they're in Ventura. They're called Headcut. Really great band. They're very punky, kind of more death rock, like that kind of style
Sure.
of
Yeah.
rock. Yeah,
I like
Headcut.
death rock. Very.
Yeah. Another one, Guilty Strangers, which is they're kind of punky death rock as well. I know the drummer, and I think one of the guitarists, they used to be in what's that band? Regrets or Go?
Oh,
I
okay.
think, yeah, they used to
I
be
love
on
this.
that.
This turned into like a review segment along with an interview. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
sometimes I do like I feel like with artists, I'll ask them that and they'll give me one or two or things like that. But
yeah.
it is hard when you're kind of thinking about and focused on
Right, right.
your own project and
Yeah.
to then think outside of that as to what
Right,
else am I
right.
listening to. But I love that, dude. You were like, let me give you like 13 bands that are badass right now.
It's
I love
really,
it.
I mean, it's really hard for me to listen to new music, because especially on Bandcamp, because I work where I work at, I'm
Mhm.
exposed to a lot of different styles of music. So when
Sure.
I get home, it's like, I'm not going to go straight from there just to go here to go do the Bandcamp.
Right, right.
So a lot of these bands um, I noticed from like just playing out or seeing
Sure.
bands,
Or driving
and
around or on
yeah.
tour. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and another guy, I gotta say, shout out to Adrian Halo in Machines with Human Skin. He's one of my
I,
good friends.
I love
Yeah.
Adrian. Very
We,
cool human
yeah, yeah,
being that every time I go to Chicago, I
yeah,
see it. It seems like we always go to the post-punk industrial museum with
right.
Martin
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
same time. So I can always count on running into Adrian every time I go there because
right.
apparently
Yeah,
we always go to the same events.
right. No, I believe it. We actually met, I think 20, it was the cold waves that Cubanate was playing at. I
Oh
forgot
yeah.
what year, but anyway, I met him when he was living in San Francisco, and I was in San Francisco, and I saw the show out there that had Frontline Assembly, Cubanate, and Revolting Cocks, or
Yeah.
I think they were called Big Sexy Land. at that
Right.
time. So that's where I met him at, and we stayed in touch. And he lived in LA for a little bit, had a short spell there. We kept in touch, and then he moved to San Diego. So we keep in touch every once in a while. And
Very cool.
while I was in, after the tour was done, I had a couple days in Chicago, and I spent one day with him. And we were just walking around, and we talked and hung out. Had some falafel, and
Nice.
yeah, it was great. It was great to just hang out and not really worry about like, oh, I gotta go to the show now.
Right.
I mean, he did come out to the show, which was very cool. We had a Chicago handshake.
Yeah. Is that where you like shake hands and do a shot of Malort and then throw up, or how does that?
Well, the drink it's Malort, and then you get an old style beer.
Ooh, okay.
And
All right.
you can shake hands and you can throw up if you want to, but no, it was great seeing him. So we talked about like, collaborating in the future, whether it's on a record or on a tour. So, because I was telling him that I wanted to go tour out in, East Midwest Coast next year, and I want to do more cities. And he expressed interest that he wanted to do as well. So maybe you'll see us both on tour sometime next year.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that.
Yeah, but if not, then you will see us separately on tour. Yeah.
So one other thing that we always do here at Sounds Chaz on the podcast is I like to spin out to one of your tracks so that people can hear what it's all about.
Yeah.
So if you were to choose one song like that's up on Bandcamp or YouTube on a video right now that you feel like really encapsulates, like this is, if you're going to hear one thing from me, this is what I want you to hear, what would that song be so that we can spin out to it?
Okay. I guess on Bandcamp, I released my latest single, She Knows. That's probably the one that I would say, really gets the vibe of what I'm trying to do. And a lot of people like that song. Especially, when I played it live, they all say, oh, I like that one, this third song, blah, blah, that you played right here. So I would say that one really represents me, at least at this point in time.
Sure.
So so that would probably be it. But on Bandcamp Friday, I will be releasing an abbreviated version of a release that I put on CD for the tour, and that I'm only going to sell at shows. So it's called Live Bootleg Collection. The abbreviated version only has 5 songs, but if you come out to the shows, or if anybody comes out to the shows and gets the CD, they will get 12 tracks plus an exclusive interview. So
cool.
So, and it's only $5. All bootleg, all recorded from shows between the first 6 months of me returning to stage. So
exciting stuff coming up. It's great to hear. This has been the Sounds and Shadows interview with Dave Dramedy. We are going to be spinning out to the song She Knows. It's a live version, but it's available on Bandcamp. I'll put the link below. Right. And thank you again, Dave, for talking with us today. I'm so glad we got to finally
definitely. Thank you very much for having me. And whenever you come out here, let me know. And when I go out to Kalamazoo, I'll let you know too.
Yes, please.
Hopefully I will be playing a show there.
I'll feed you, and I make great vegetarian food.
Awesome.
Because our bass player and producer Colin is a vegetarian, so I cook great vegetarian.
Actually, next year I will be going pescatarian because I miss eating fish.
Okay, that's fair. Especially California. I mean, such great sushi and
right. Well, I don't think the meatless companies have perfected making fake fish yet. That's something a little bit different. So that's why I'm going pescatarian for the time being, so I could start eating swordfish, which is my favorite.
Nice. So for us here at Sounds and Shadows, to all of you out there in interweb lands, keep it dark, yo.
See you later.
I like to believe in the things I say. I think the truth that I'm not as ready. I like to believe I can do no wrong. Soul is paid, now heart and soul. And I like to believe these things, but it's There's no use in going